My beloved brothers and sisters, being a man has been misunderstood by many in today's world. People often associate it with physical strength, loudness, or the ability to dominate others. But in reality, true manhood is not in how much you can lift, how intimidating you look, or how many people fear you. True manhood lies in responsibility. It lies in being dependable, in being trustworthy, in being someone others can rely on. A man is not defined by his muscles, but by his character and his ability to carry out the duties that Allah has placed upon his shoulders. This is why we must reflect deeply on what it really means to be a man, because society may glorify arrogance and pride, but Allah praises humility, responsibility, and sincerity. Look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad. He is the best example of what it means to be a true man. He was not a man who walked around demanding respect or frightening people into obedience. Instead, he was a man who earned the respect of everyone around him through his honesty, his reliability, and his kindness. From a young age, people called him Al-Amin, the trustworthy. Why? Because he took responsibility seriously. He did not betray trusts, he did not let people down, and he did not run away from duty. A real man embraces responsibility. He fulfills his obligations even when they are difficult. He does not hide when things get tough, and he does not make excuses to escape his duties. Responsibility shows in every part of a man's life. As a son, he is responsible for respecting and serving his parents. As a husband, he is responsible for protecting and providing for his wife with love and compassion. As a father, he is responsible for raising his children with care, teaching them values, and being a role model. As a member of the community, he is responsible for being honest in his dealings, fair in his actions, and helpful to those in need. This is what separates a boy from a man. A boy thinks only of himself, but a man thinks of others and carries the weight of duty without complaint. Responsibility also means accountability. A real man does not blame others for his mistakes. He admits when he is wrong and corrects himself. He does not hide behind excuses or point fingers. Instead, he understands that Allah has given him a role and that he will be questioned about it on the day of judgment. Every responsibility is a trust from Allah, and every trust must be fulfilled. This awareness keeps a man humble because he knows he will have to answer for every promise broken, every duty neglected, and every opportunity wasted. Many people run after status, wealth, or fame, thinking that these things make them men. But these are temporary illusions. The real measure of a man is how much responsibility he takes on and how well he fulfills it. A man who has nothing but fulfills his duty with sincerity is far greater in the sight of Allah than a man who has everything but neglects his obligations. Responsibility is not glamorous. It is not always easy, but it is what builds respect, trust, and dignity. When a man takes responsibility seriously, he becomes a source of strength for others. His family feels safe because they know he will not abandon them. His friends trust him because they know he will not betray them. His community respects him because they know he stands for what is right. That is the beauty of responsibility. It transforms a person into someone others can look up to and rely upon. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, understand that true manhood is not a show. It is not in arrogance, nor in force. It is in being responsible in every role that Allah has placed upon you. It is in being honest, dependable, and trustworthy. A man without responsibility is like a building without a foundation. It will collapse. But a man who carries his responsibilities sincerely will stand firm, no matter how strong the winds of life blow against him. This is the essence of real strength, the essence of true manhood. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest signs of a true man is his ability to control his emotions, especially anger. Too many people think that strength lies in shouting louder, hitting harder, or intimidating others into silence. But this is not strength at all. In fact, it is weakness dressed up as power. The Prophet Muhammad told us clearly that the strong man is not the one who can overpower others physically, but the one who controls himself at the time of anger. That hadith alone redefines our understanding of what it means to be strong. True strength is not in your body, it is in your discipline, your restraint, and your patience when you are tested. When a person becomes angry, they lose clarity, they lose wisdom, and they lose balance. How many families have been broken because of words spoken in anger? How many marriages ended because one or both partners failed to control their tempers? How many friendships have been destroyed by insults that came out in a moment of rage? Anger is like fire. If you do not control it, it will burn everything around you, and often it will burn you the most. That is why a real man is not the one who allows anger to control him, but the one who controls his anger before it controls him. A real man understands that being provoked is part of life. People will insult you, people will wrong you, and situations will test you, but your reaction is what defines your character. If you answer anger with anger, you are no different from the one who wronged you. If you respond with patience, silence, or wisdom, you rise above the situation and protect your dignity. When you shout, when you curse, when you become violent, you lower yourself. But when you remain calm, when you walk away, or when you speak words of peace, you elevate yourself in the eyes of Allah and in the eyes of people. Control does not mean suppression. It does not mean bottling up emotions until you explode. It means managing your emotions in a way that they do not harm you or others. It means knowing how to express yourself without crossing limits. The Prophet himself faced the worst insults, the most painful situations, yet he never reacted with uncontrolled anger. His patience, his calmness, and his ability to forgive showed us what real strength is. He had every reason to retaliate, but he chose mercy. That is true manhood. In our daily lives, the challenge of anger is everywhere. At home, with our spouses and children, at work with colleagues, on the road with reckless drivers, even online with strangers. Every day, something or someone will test our patience. The question is, will you be strong enough to control yourself, or will you allow your emotions to dictate your actions? The answer to that question determines whether you are truly strong or simply pretending. My brothers, remember that children learn from the behavior of their fathers. If a father shouts and loses his temper over small things, the children will grow up thinking that anger is strength. But if the father shows patience, calmness, and control, his children will learn that strength is in restraint. The greatest gift you can give your family is the example of emotional control. Your wife feels safe when you can control your anger. Your children feel respected when you listen instead of shout. Your home becomes peaceful when you choose calmness over rage. That is the impact of a real man. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, never think that raising your voice, throwing things, or intimidating others is a sign of power. Anyone can do that. True strength requires training of the soul, discipline of the mind, and remembrance of Allah in moments of heat. The next time you are tested, pause, breathe, and remind yourself that Allah is watching. Choose patience, choose silence, or choose kind words. That is the path of the strong, that is the path of the Prophet, and that is the path of a real man. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the clearest signs of true manhood is how a man takes care of his family. It is not about showing off in front of others, nor about pretending to be strong outside while neglecting responsibilities at home. A real man does not abandon his wife and children, nor does he put his friends, his desires, or his ego before his household. Instead, he fulfills his duty of providing, protecting, and nurturing his family with love, mercy, and consistency. Allah has entrusted every man with a family as a trust, and on the day of judgment he will be asked about how he carried that responsibility. To be careless in this matter is not a small mistake, it is a betrayal of the trust given by Allah. When we look at the example of the Prophet Muhammad, we see that he was the greatest of men, the leader of a nation, the messenger of Allah, yet he never neglected his family. He would spend time with his wives, he would play with children, and he would treat his household with kindness and mercy. He never considered serving his family as something beneath him. He mended his own clothes, he helped with chores, and he was gentle with everyone at home. This is the example of manhood that Islam teaches us. And yet today many men think being in the house is a place only for women, or that showing kindness is a sign of weakness. No, in reality, it is the mark of a strong man, a man confident enough to be compassionate. Providing for a family is not only about putting food on the table. Yes, financial provision is part of a man's duty, but it goes beyond that. A true man provides emotional stability, guidance, and love. Children do not only need money, they need attention, time, and affection. They need a father who listens to them, who guides them, who teaches them right from wrong through his actions, not just his words. A wife does not only need material support, she needs to feel safe, valued, and respected. A man who belittles his wife, insults her, or makes her feel unimportant has failed in his duty, no matter how much money he brings home. Neglect of family is one of the biggest weaknesses we see in society today. Men spend hours outside the home chasing entertainment, wasting time, or fulfilling desires, while their children grow up without a father figure and their wives feel abandoned. This is not manhood, it is irresponsibility. A real man sacrifices his comfort for the sake of his family. He may come home tired, but he still spends time with his children. He may face pressure outside, but he still smiles at his wife and speaks kindly. He may not have much wealth, but what he has he shares generously with his household. The impact of a man's treatment of his family lasts for generations. A child who grows up with a father who is caring, protective, and responsible will learn to be the same in his own life. A daughter who sees her father respecting her mother will know her worth and not accept disrespect from others. But a man who neglects his family leaves wounds that last far longer than he imagines. My beloved brothers and sisters, understand that your family is your primary responsibility. The world outside will forget you. Your job will replace you. Your friends may leave you, but your family will stand with you through every difficulty. They are the ones who make dua for you, who cry for you, who pray for your success. Do not neglect them for the temporary distractions of this life. A real man invests in his family, knowing that the love and care he gives them will benefit him in this world and in the hereafter. So remember, true manhood is not measured by how much power you show in public, but by how much love, mercy, and responsibility you show at home. Be the protector of your family, be the source of comfort for them, and be the example they look up to. That is what makes you a real man in the sight of Allah, and that is what will make your life truly successful. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest marks of a real man is that he keeps his promises and stands firmly for justice. Many people speak with confidence, they make promises easily, but when the time comes to fulfill those promises, they disappear, they make excuses, or they betray trust. That is not manhood, that is weakness. A real man's word carries weight. When he says something, people know they can rely on him. His family, his friends, his community, and above all, his Creator know that his tongue is not used for deception. Allah has praised those who fulfill their covenants and condemned those who break them. To be careless with promises is to invite dishonor in this world and accountability in the hereafter. When we look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad, he was known even before his prophethood as Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. His people might have disagreed with his message, but no one ever accused him of breaking his word or being dishonest. His entire life was built upon honesty and reliability. That is why when he spoke the truth of Islam, those who were sincere could not deny it, because they knew this man never lied. This teaches us that the foundation of manhood is integrity. Without it, you can have muscles, wealth, and status, but in reality, you are empty. A real man is someone who protects the trust given to him, whether it is wealth, responsibility, or even a secret. If someone shares something with you in confidence, it is amana, and you are accountable before Allah for how you handle it. If you borrow something, you return it. If you owe someone, you pay them back. If you promise to be there for someone, you fulfill that promise. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes that fulfilling covenants is a mark of true believers. In fact, Allah links it with taqwa, with true consciousness of Him. Justice is also tied to manhood. A real man does not bend the truth to benefit himself. He does not oppress others or use his power to exploit. He stands up for what is right, even if it is against his own interests. This is not easy because the temptation of dunya often pushes people to cheat, lie, or take shortcuts. But a true man resists those temptations, knowing that Allah is the ultimate judge. He would rather lose in this world than lose his standing with Allah. That is why real men are rare, because standing for justice requires courage, and courage requires faith. In society today, promises are broken so casually. Businessmen make deals they never intend to keep. Friends give their word but abandon each other when needed. Husbands make vows on their wedding day but forget them when things get difficult. This culture of breaking promises is destroying trust. But if even a few men commit to keeping their word, to standing for justice, to showing that integrity is not dead, they can rebuild trust in their families, their communities, and beyond. My brothers, when your children see you keeping your word, they learn that honesty is valuable. When your wife sees that your promises are not empty, she feels secure in your relationship. When your community knows that you stand for justice, they respect you and turn to you in times of need. But when you break promises, when you lie, when you abandon justice, you lose respect, and eventually you lose yourself. Remember, the world might not always reward honesty, but Allah will. People might not always recognize your integrity, but Allah knows. The world might mock you for standing alone with the truth, but on the day of judgment you will stand with the prophets, the truthful, and the righteous. A real man is not concerned with short-term gain. He is focused on eternal success. That success only comes with honesty, with keeping promises, and with standing firm on justice, no matter how difficult it may be. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, strive to be that man. Do not let your word be light. Speak less, but when you do, let your words carry honor. Make fewer promises, but when you do, let them be fulfilled. Stand with the truth, even if it costs you in this world, because in reality, it will save you in the hereafter. This is the way of true men, and this is the path that leads to lasting respect, dignity, and success in both worlds.